hydration while he's demonstrated his flex potential. Why this team comp is set up the way it is, they want that Genji Tracer at least to start.
Well, I think the two biggest things you could have seen out of the Gladiators here on defense was maybe they run like a triple tank and you have hydration, play the Roadhog, or you just go with the really heavy dive with Asher on the Tracer, hydration on the Genji, and you really just kind of get up in Seoul Dynasty's face. So you don't let them get the Bastion on the card, but they leave all
non-Jonak Zenyatta hero.
Are we just putting Jonak in like another stats category all his own? Well, hey, that's pretty impressive. Shaz is at the best Zen outside of Jonak.
He has been pretty insane.
He has been sick.
Look, LA have got a lot of looks available to them. Look at Shaz, by the way. They're just putting him out in front and getting some early damage with some orbs. Find an early kill would be nice. Here we go, though. Seoul Dynasty are out of the gate. There's going to be Kuki on the Orisa.
And here's the Mei out of Jaehong. So it'll be Toby solo healing. You'll get Jaehong on the Mei.
Aren't LA really susceptible to a Mei when they're running sort of a Tracer Genji? Are you concerned as LA running into this?
I mean, I guess you kind of would, right? I mean, if you dive onto Toby in the back, you have to deal with the power of the Junkrat, and then Mei able to freeze and just, you know, those right clicks, those
gives
ice
Roadhog
spikes right
free
in your head.
hooks as well on frozen targets. There's so much
well, I
potential.
guess you have the halt of the Orisa plus, you know, the hook of Roadhog and then able to freeze, or you hook and then you halt, you hook, and then you put a Mei wall so they can't get away after.
It's so much just zone control and CC on this team now. Things are getting a little bit cooler here in the arena. You see Bishi forced to go up to the high ground, and Wakid's caught Asher with an early trap. Not a great start for the Gladiators here. A wall attempt from Jaehong to prevent any escape from Big Goose, but he's a second too late. However, the Dynasty is still on the move.
And you can get by with the solo healer here.
There we go.
See Remix and Shaz pick up some kills here. You can get by with the solo heal from Toby because, you know, you kind of look at Mei, right? She can get into that ice block, re-heal herself. There's Zumba on the Roadhog. He can vape, he can get his health back. So you're really only worried about, you know, keeping your Orisa alive, your Junkrat, and then, you know, you can fly out of harm's way to Fleta playing the Widowmaker.
The Gladiators so far able to avoid the cheeky trap that Seoul are now quite clearly trying to put together. Wakid, again, benefiting from the infra side here, so he knows where the Mercy is, he knows where the positioning is. He's going to get up behind Shaz, that's nasty! Oh, he comes in with a grenade, and the mine, should I say, and that will be easily done. No one really expects the Ninja Junkrat until he's right up behind you, and now the Riptide to follow up. Wakid's had an excellent start to the fight. Remix has found Fleta elsewhere, and Hydration's going to send the whole hog back in the direction of Zumba. Will knock him back, but it's only really Remix. He does want to dive into 3. And you can see the wall there prevents Hydration from immediately assisting, and this is nasty. Remix going to get frozen up. There's going to be a lot of assistance for Jaehong. His Blizzard also available.
Yeah, it's difficult because Remix, he uses the Primal Rage, he gets in there, he still has Asher and Hydration alive, but you have the Roadhog up, you have the Mage, just a lot of targets with, you know, large HP pools, and they're able to self-heal, and Seoul Dynasty advances the payload past the first point. You have the Blizzard here for Jaehong on Mei. I'm interested to see how he decides to use that, maybe a flank. A team fight starts, you get it from behind. I guess you can use it to initiate. Yeah.
4 players can escape this, so it, in theory, is probably something Jaehong just wants to combine or maybe even use for zone control. So Shaz gets picked off by Fleta early, which is, again, not great. However, Big Goose gets the res, but he's forced to use his Valkyrie to do so. Wakid wants to get up close and personal here. The Los Angeles Gladiators are trying to cut space off, but Seoul want them to come to them. More than happy to fight over on the payload. And that's going to be the Transcendence as well. So both support ultimates committed by the Gladiators in this fight, but it's working out. The extra healing is getting him across the line, and they're going to shut the door right in the face of the Tigers. No chance for Seoul to make progress here.
Jaehong will switch off of Mei, go over to Zenyatta. Something a little bit more standard now. So you'll get both supports in play here for Seoul Dynasty. And you're going to have Kuki with a supercharger here. You're still going to play the Orisa Roadhog combination.
Remember what I asked for in our first match of the day from the Fusion? I said I don't want to see any respect given. Well, it looks like the Gladiators are taking this idea now, and they're being the masters of their own destiny. They want to push forward and hold chokes. The Riptide being drawn out of Wakid now kind of forces the Gladiators back. Hopefully they can get in position, though, to continue to try and choke out the Dynasty. Dragon Blade doesn't quite work out. Wakid greets Hydration there with a concussive mine, and he gets very little done with that ultimate. In fact, he's not going to have it even refunded. Toby, the res on towards Wakid. Asher, Pulse Bomb was there, but he was so low on HP, and the Gladiators push forward to fight. It's okay. They will have a chance to come and sort of try and defend before that second checkpoint's reached.
Yeah, they'll have another shot at going out here on the defensive end and getting onto the payloads. It's unfortunate, though, you get nothing from that Dragon Blade from Hydration. Bijou uses self-destruct there as well. As soon as Hydration pulled out the blade, he was a little weak. It's hit with a mine from Wakid. See here from Fleta's POV on the Widowmaker.
Gladiators can't allow there to be any picks right now. Venomine does get set off, gives Fleta some early warnings. Remix was gunning straight for him. Now the Primal Rage is going to be chasing up for Toby. Toby has a Harmony Orb on him and is able to get away just in time. Remix doesn't get anything for the use of that ultimate. At least it's a trade though. Wakid had already fallen in a hydration and the rest of the Gladiators were able to pounce upon the remaining tank players from the Seoul Dynasty. It's got to be reses from both sides now. Kuki's back. Jaehong down. Fleta in a position now to get some easy damage, but Big Goose has eluded him so far. The Holt was going to give him an easy target, but he doesn't connect, and Fleta's having some difficulties making the shot. There it is, though. He finds Bishu, looking for Shaz behind the payload, but he's getting pressured now by Asher. Back away with a grappling hook. Perhaps it might have to be another fight.
And somehow in there, they're able to take point B. So they're actually going to advance the payload on through. So somewhere in there, the Gladiators must have got off the payload, and Seoul Dynasty able to get that second checkpoint move on through.
It's so strange that it happens. I feel like they were so worried about Fleta being unattended up on high. Maybe they didn't know who was going to deal with that. Either way, we're going to move on now because double transcendence is coming out here. Two eyes of the one storm, and it's in more than just a teacup right now. Hydration falls. Kuki was able to get up on the high ground and find him. Thinking about Remix, but Kuki needs to wait for his jump to head back up there. He'll decide to do that now, though. Self-destruct into close quarters. Kuki knows he can't pick around the corner, but there's extra damage. He can't stop Bishu from resuiting, but with Hydration getting a nice run with the Dragon Blade, it will be a reset. The Gladiators once again stand tall.
And a Transcendence used there for the Gladiators, Valkyrie and Dragon Blade. So 3 big ultimates there used for the LA Gladiators. Take a look here at his Hydration. He gets rezzed up. Nice deflect there. He knows some Junkrat grenades onto Wakid and then just slices on through some of the remaining members of Seoul Dynasty. Seoul Dynasty, they will have their Valkyrie for the next fight in Riptire. So maybe you can open it up. The big kill with the Riptire. No support ultimates here for the Gladiators, whether it's Valkyrie or Transcendence. There you're going to get Big Goose, so not going to have any res for the rest of this fight, but you see some other kills going in favor of the Gladiators. It's a big pulse bomb from Asher. He actually connects with Kuki and DMX Zumba.
Big Goose goes down early, but still Toby's forced to use his Valkyrie in this fight. So credit to the LA Gladiators for making this far more costly for Seoul than it may otherwise have been. Bishu, quick D-suit, quick demolition. And now Fleta's going hunting here. He knows he's confident, he can sit behind Kuki. They're actually playing a McCree Junkrat without like a static tank, so they do need to look after themselves to a degree because Kuki and Zumba are likely going to be trying to get in the enemy's face.
Yeah, Zumba going to go over to Diva now. See from the Gladiators side, you do have Remix with that Primal Rage, can get on the point, stall it out. I think the one who has to make a big play is if Hydration can get this Dragon Blade, really make it worthwhile. You've seen, you know, the last push when he used it, he was able to do some nice things. Not going to have the opportunity here. He's going to get hit with another Junkrat mine from Wakid.
Yeah, 180 and straight to the face. Wakid deals with the Genji pretty easily. Hydration's brought back up, and now it's going to be the Riptide with the Transcendence. It's not going to save the Gladiators from the explosive potential. It's both supports down. Jackpot for Wakid. And the Gladiators now might be forced to dig deep into the pockets and find some more of these ultimates. Self-destruct comes in a very awkward position. Doesn't quite find the kill there for Bishu. He probably wanted a bit more help. He's got his suit back at the very least. Look, he's still hunting. Bishu getting desuited. Where's his support? It's still coming in, filtering slowly out from the spawn. Kuki going hunting for the mini Diva and Bishu's done.
And I believe Hydration uses the Dragon Blade, gets countered by Jaehong, who has his Transcendence here. Kuki just moving in towards the spawn. The self-destruct comes out of Zumba here, the Valkyrie from Toby. That is a team kill. It is Seoul Dynasty taking all 3 points here on their offense on Junkertown. They only have 13 seconds left in the time bank though, so a pretty good hold from the LA Gladiators.
And interestingly enough, the LA Gladiators put on holds consecutively throughout the map. It wasn't just maybe one stage that were really hard to shift on. First was a little bit back and forth. We saw some really good looks from the Gladiators in terms of just springing forth, you know, getting a pick with Shaz, and then someone like Asher's coming forward and managing to make an impact in these fights. We saw so many different tweaks and compositions from Seoul there as well. You can see how prepared this team is to sacrifice, you know, ultimate charge or a sense that they're doing fine in their own role for the betterment of the team.
And in the way we say the Los Angeles Gladiators are very hard to game plan against when Hydration is in the game, you know, because he can play so many different, you know, off heroes at a high level. It's very difficult, you know, going against all of Seoul Dynasty, right? I mean, Zumba can play all of the off tanks at a high level. You know, Fleta and Wakid can play the snipers like we saw during the preseason.
Such a big roster as well. There could be any kind of looks they could throw in there.
We've seen Jaehong play 76, you know, Ana, Zenyatta.
Widow.
He plays so many different heroes. It's nearly impossible to figure out what they're going to run on a given day.
And hitherto, Wakid hasn't really been seen much of this week. In fact, I didn't play in the previous match, so now he's back. We did get a good glimpse of him actually in the preseason where he played a bit of Farah, and that was really nice. So again, there's so many options available to this Seoul team, but they definitely like to work around that core, Matt. You know, we really don't see them going without Toby, Jaehong, Zunba, and I'd say even Fleta.
Yeah, I would put Fleta in that core 4 right now. On defense for Seoul, looks like you'll be seeing the Mei again from Jaehong. So you can probably use Mei even more effective on defense, right? Splitting players off and they come around the corner. I don't know though, it's so much mobility on the side of the Gladiators, right? Can you just get around the Orisa? Can you get around the Mei and then make a play for Toby on that Mercy?
This is just a big composition to try and get through. We'll know one way or another, Matt, you're dead right. Fleta on that Widowmaker, you can see he's sitting off towards the right side, which is customary. The opening of these maps. Ooh, look at Los Angeles. They really were aware of like an aggressive frontal hold. Now they're going to move to the payload, realizing that Seoul are actually sitting a little bit further back than they otherwise would have anticipated. It also kept them safe from Widowmaker sightlines at that opening push.
Much better.
From where Seoul is playing right now, they're playing around the corner, and the Gladiators have gotten off of the cart right now. They keep putting Shaz on it just to get a touch, and then they're trying to work around this right-hand side. So what are you looking to see? Okay, so Asher actually gets behind enemy lines. They jump Toby up top, so they get the Mercy. That's going to be the solo healer out of the equation. They keep Shaz on the payload, able to land the Discords, be pretty safe once you get the Mercy out. You have to back up if you're Seoul. It's the only healer you got. Very nice strat coming out from the LA Gladiators early on.
Now, Jaehong admits he might just have to kiss the ring and switch over towards the Zenyatta here. Key Tracer, something we haven't seen tons of from him. But let's see how this fight starts, Matt. So Shaz opens up here, charge shot. We've already seen enough today to know just how strong it is. LA pile on in, and despite it getting a little bit mixed up by Hydration not getting to his intended target because of the Hulk, Shaz is there for so much damage.
They work around that right side with the speed boost and jump right on top of Toby, and with that speed boost and all the heroes coming down on it, they don't have a chance to react here as Shaz getting closer to Transcendence. It'll be Asher opening up this fight. The kill on Fleta. Kill still going in favor of the LA Gladiators. This is a tremendous start. You could not ask for a better start for the LA Gladiators. You take point 1 relatively uncontested. You're going to have both support ults with a Dragon Blade online. And you have to be aware of the opposing team, right? Because you know that Jaehong is switched, you know that Zumba is switched, same with Cookie and Fleta, so you know all of those ults are pretty much reset.
I heard the coach giving the Gladiators their warm-up speech earlier on, and I could hear him say, I don't care who their name is. Ignore that, ignore everything, get in their face, and this is our time to really show up. And looks like the Gladiators are really taking this to heart now as well. No respect coming out. That's what I like to see. Pulse bomb there. Oh, it's going to be Jaehong just get a bit of a slap to the back of the head. Actually didn't even want to go for the pulse bomb. Now they're getting somewhere. Gladiators really getting aggressive. Toby forced a double res here. He gets Zunra and Jaehong back with Fleta's already fallen, and that Valkyrie is not going to amount to very much at all. Yes, players on the LA Gladiators are low, but Remix just bounces over the top of Kuki, turns him into a simian pancake, and it is go time. The Gladiators definitely on the run.
And you're able to hold on to your Transcendence if you're the Gladiators during that fight. So big win there for the LA Gladiators. Bishu had to use the self-destruct. He had the sound barrier, then hydration with that Dragon Blade to lead the charge, but they're continuing to move the payload here towards that second checkpoint, checkpoint B. We'll see if Seoul decides to come out here and challenge this. They do have a Primal Rage from Kuki to do it.
See, Bishu tries to go for the boot there to prevent Kuki from actually getting to the payload. It doesn't quite work, so there is going to be some stall here. But with Fleta dropping first in this fight, that might be the key to victory. Bishu's more than happy to trade damage with Zumba at close range, and now the Transcendence coming out for Seoul. Seems as if Bishu's going to have to wait and take fire for a little bit, but there's a lot of targets to be firing into, and the Bunny Blaster isn't exactly a mini nuke launcher, but Hydration might have something better. The keen edge of Hydration combined with his blade now, finding 2 quick kills, might even be 1 more. Wakid needs to keep his distance, but it's not enough. A knife into the back, and the Gladiators are continuing to roll forward. 4 minutes, 35 seconds. Very, very fast time.
So Seoul Dynasty invests Transcendence there, and they use a Primal Rage. On the other side, the Gladiators end up using their Transcendence that they were holding on to. They had to use their Primal Rage and Dragon Blade there, so pretty good trade if you're Seoul Dynasty here going into the last part of the map.
Remix and Bishu just admiring the sights right now, trying to take the high ground. And with Kuki falling so early, that means that Seoul are going to have to take a back seat here, sit in the corner and face the wall. They need their main tank. Oh, Shadow's stuck. There's not much you can do about that. Nicely done. Wakid just gives that one a flick right onto the Omnic Monk. So now the LA Gladiators might be on the back foot. They're going to have to chill for a little bit. Fleta comes in with a Dragon Blade, charges down Big Goose here, looking for more, but he seems to have already done the damage he needed to.
Now we'll have a reset here for the Gladiators. Now after that Dragon Blade, nothing much they can do on offense. They have to wait believe they had a support die at the beginning. Big Goose will switch off of Lucio here, go over to Mercy. So they made this much progress thus far using that speed boost to really get on top of the supports of Seoul Dynasty. You're going to lose that here, but gain the res. I feel like towards this later part of the map, especially without like a Deadeye or something, or a Attack Visor on the other side, or even a Widowmaker to get that Mercy out of the sky, I feel like Valkyrie's even that much more powerful.
I agree, it can be very, very hard to catch. He's so fast, and this has been a good start to the fight. Actually, oh no, he recalls 2 seconds prior. He was right in the way of the mech, and of course that's where he wound up. He tried to get away with a quick blink, but you know, you're supposed to blink twice if you're in danger, not just once, and that didn't work out well at all. But here's the res. Kuki and Remix are back in the fight. Fishy's looking for Fleta now to reflect a heck of a lot of that damage, but Hydration elsewhere has found Jaehong. There could be more to come. I believe a Pulse Bomb was dropped and it found Big Goose. Look here, they're going to take the heart and soul out of the Gladiators here. They're going to keep pressing forward regardless. They're down to 4 players and trying to make something happen here, but Hydration, his Dragon Blade is just but a mere memory.
Yeah, that was a pretty sick self-destruct from Bishu, so he launches it into the sky. Kuki trying to get out of the way. He just stands as Baby Diva in the doorway, blocks him, takes out the enemy Winston. So we'll see now from both.
They're still moving, to be fair. That was a pretty even fight, and one fight for Gladiators, they're still able to make progress here. But look at how much they're fighting over this top area.
And Fleta's going to get a blade here, and you have no support ults on the other side.
Oh, no train.
Fleta can get a blade here. Yep, here it comes. This should be a big one. He's able to get right through Shaz. There goes Big Goose.
Okay,
But
2 for 2.
Yeah, you do have some kills coming out of Bishu though, and you have Asher still alive, so maybe you can keep this going. You have a Primal Rager, you used it for my remix, so you thought you could have kept that fight going a little bit longer, but doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's tough for the Gladiators. Before the res on Toby, it was a pretty even fight, but the fact that Toby manages to get the resurrect you know, on Fleta without being interrupted, it was a standard resurrect as well. So maybe LA Gladiators lost sight of him, or somehow, you know, Toby cheekily snuck in. Stuff like that doesn't get mentioned enough, but it was huge for Seoul in what was otherwise going to be an even fight to get that Genji back on his feet.
The Gladiators should be able to come to this next fight though with Transcendence and then Valkyrie. A little bit earlier than Seoul Dynasty. See if they can combo both of these support ults. They catch what keyed out. That's a big kill. See if they can capitalize. They get both DPS.
Toby's down, no res.
No res. Now you have both support ultimates online, and you have Hydration with the Dragon Blade. Don't need to use anything right now. This next fight, though, the teams are going to come in pretty snappy.
Zoning self-destruct available for Bishu. In fact, he's going to try and make sure that there's no way Zumba can get back to the fight. He's keeping him out of the picture for the moment. He's still watching him. Look at this. Both Divas going head-to-head. And again, Zumba gets up on the high ground here. I'm really interested in how Bishu sets up this self-destruct, if at all. He's backing away for the rest of his team. His front line's already in, and so is the Mercy. Hydration with the Dragon Blade. Still looking for his first pick of this fight here, hunting them down. It looks like there might be a self-destruct coming in over the top. No! Hydration falls. It might not be over, though. Bishu still has his own self-destruct, and Hydration is given a second lead on life. A stay of execution, but Dynasty might be the ones with their head on the chopping block right now. Fleta doesn't have the healing of the Mercy anymore, but actually fell to Rujihong in the back line. It's going to be Kuki returning to the payload. Self-destruct gets Toby. No Mercy available here for Seoul. Pressure continues to build. Remix finds Jaehong now looking to spread out these tanks, get some free alone time on the payload. And Kuki's looking real low. This is going to be nasty. Seoul need to run in numbers, otherwise this is going to be all over. Dragon Blade from Fleta, desperate attempt. He finds Big Goose, but he's down. Where is Seoul right now? It's just Zumba and Toby. They're both dropped. It's going to be Seoul to fall in his first map. And the Gladiators, a cry of let's go coming out from Hydration. And once again, the first map in so many of these series, it's been Junkertown and it has been struggle time. But of course it's not over yet. Of course Seoul with third, but it's only slightly at this point.
It's a big kill by Shaz on Jaehong at the beginning of that final fight. He was able to take him out at range on the Zenyatta. Then, of course, Toby to use the Valkyrie probably a little bit earlier than they would have wanted. And then they end up using, you know, both reses before Fleta falls, and they're not able to res Fleta when he has that Dragon Blade. It's a big offensive push there towards the end from the Gladiators.
And if you're Seoul, you don't expect to, you know, be pushed to this point. We saw that Dragon Blade, as you mentioned, from Fleta. It didn't get nearly as much as they were hoping to. Chaotic. A lot of ultimates being drawn out. But as it stands, it's 1 minute in the time bank for Seoul, and it's 1 minute and 6 in the time bank for Los Angeles Gladiators. So it's actually such a small difference that it's insignificant.
It's really, yeah, I was going to say it's insignificant amount of time. I mean, 6 seconds can go by real quick. Overwatch is, really can kind of die in like a split second depending on what the other team's running.
Sure.
It looks like Seoul Dynasty here will be on offense. 1 minute on the clock. See what they decide to do, and whether you go with the Mei again. It looks like they're going to go with something a little bit more standard. They're going to go with Fleta on the Widow, You're gonna have Jaehong play the Zen right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, so last time, obviously, Jaehong, I was on defense more than anything, switched to Zen only after getting picked off on the Mei. Now he's going to start off with Zen. So perhaps the Mei pick just not working out for Dynasty.
The Gladiators giving Seoul a decent amount of space here.
What are they thinking? What are they trying to do with this?
It's dangerous because you may only give yourself one fight here.
Are they trying to make it easier to get to Fleta?
I mean, are they trying to just kind of get everybody out in space and maybe just start like a chaotic fight, separate some players off? Like,
you see Seoul respect this so much, they backed away as soon as they realized that the Gladiators weren't challenging. Fleta being threatened. Hydration sees a concussive mind flow over his head, thinks better of it now to join the rest of his team. Looking for Toby, he's found him. He doesn't have a Harmony Orb on him, so it's going to make it a little bit harder to pick off. And in the meantime, Bishu getting decent hydration caught out. The bait was set and the trap goes off just as intended.
But now if you're the LA Gladiators, if these players fall that are still alive, you see Remix falling here. You still have Big Goose alive. Bishu's going to actually have to back out. You don't really have a great opportunity potentially to make a second push on this point. You do have Asher alive. Bishu still is alive. He backed out. Hydration has just come off spawn. So these players are up top, ready to make a play. They need to get Remix, Big Goose, and Shaz back in the action now.
Again, we're going to see that checkpoint come up here. So Seoul chalk it up to 4, but now well and truly in that overtime. Naturally, no opportunity for the Gladiators. I feel like the Gladiators wanted to have one good fight out in the open instead of one good fight in the close quarters and a bad one in the open.
But why not just play aggressive at the beginning and get 2 good fights? You would have gotten that fight in the open regardless, as we see Asher Shaz opening up with some kills. This could be it for Seoul's offensive push. You see Kuki up live on the payload Zumba. He's going to vape up. He's going to get a whole hog. We'll see him put it to use. Can he make anything happen with it? Asher darting behind enemy lines. Hydration with a Dragon Blade. That'll be where Seoul Dynasty's push stops.
That was exceedingly good, by the way. The fact that Seoul did themselves the double resurrect, there was a Mercy Valkyrie used in that situation, and it meant nothing because the Gladiators poured on the pressure so much. The second and third kills followed the first from the Gladiators so quickly that there was no chance to try and make up for the deficit. They were always going to be at a man advantage in that fight.
And I think, obviously, we'll know the results of this map. I would love to just know what the Gladiators are trying to do there on the defensive end. Because if you wanted that fight in the open, you would have had it again if you would have taken it by the first
Not necessarily, no, because if you take the first fight up close in the first choke, you don't get to have a full 6-man fight necessarily in front of the Junkertown gate. Normally you're like 2 or 3 man trying to trickle out.
I guess you would have had to play extremely far up.
Right. Whereas if you hold the fight until that last choke, as the Gladiators did, you get to set up in that area where the enemy's forced to filter out and split. You can already, so I get it, like you give up the first fight to give yourself a better fight on theoretically better terrain out in this area if you're established. But if you're running in through behind Zumba from spawn to mid-fight, you're just going to get wrecked because it's so easy to cut you off. And that's why they ran Mei in the first place.
And it kind of, I mean, with the defense that the Gladiators had set up, with Fleta playing the Widowmaker, it kind of forces him all the way out to that far side, which almost sets up a 1v1 Fleta versus Hydration.
Makes it easier for your flank
Genji on Widow, sets up a little bit of an easier matchup in that one-on-one scenario.
You got it. Oh, I haven't seen this before. Okay. This is a very interesting spot. Shaz, he was sped up, you know, Big Goose managed to come out with that speed boost, but still, Shaz in no position to avoid that. Obviously, big old hitbox on the Zenyatta, poor guy. All right, good start for Seoul here. It's going to slow up the Gladiators.
So we'll see Zumba play a little bit further up. Now he'll start to back out. So the Gladiators have to make their way onto the payload. They'll do the same thing again. So they're going to use that speed boost to get some of these players up top, potentially try and take out the supports. They have Shaz, the lone member. Oh, well, I was going to say he's working the payload on forward, but he gets taken out by Wakid. So you lose Shaz early at the beginning of these fights.
I think Seoul might have found the weak point of the Gladiators here, or at least their biggest strength.
Well, I mean, you're kind of leaving Shaz out in the middle of the open against, Fleta and Wakid here. It's going to be very difficult for him to get anything going. 10 seconds left.
Speed is not a suitable defense. It's 3 from 3, and Feta slaps the gauntlet down. Nothing that can be done there, Shaz. Speed is not a suitable defense against a Widowmaker of this caliber. Now we're in overtime. The wick is burning down, and Seoul have just thought this through so effectively. Big Goose and Asher up on the payload, but Bishu's got no suitors. Nothing to be done. Nice little mix-up there by the Seoul Dynasty. What a great look that was. And the Gladiators played right into their hands.
Amazing adjustments by Seoul there on defense. Fleta with some big kills, able to take out Shaz. And You know, Shaz says to Zenyatta for the Los Angeles Gladiators, such a damage dealer on that hero. You lose a lot of the overall team damage as well from Discord. Some big kills early from Fleta.
Sorry, Shaz. Strike 3 and you're out. Seoul figured